What's up, everyone? I'm back to do a showdown breakdown for the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Indianapolis Colts Sunday night primetime. Boom. Let's do this. All right, one of the highest scoring main slates I've ever seen, ever. I'm literally sitting on something like a 240 plus point score in a contest against not that many, 63 other people, some small amount of people, and I'm still not in first place on Draftkings. It's crazy. King of the beach. Hoping to get there. Where is that one? It doesn't matter. Hoping to get there. Anyway, let's take a look at the showdown breakdown. So I think the high scoring is going to continue into tonight. And we've got an explosive game. Anytime the Chiefs are on the slate, it's explosive. And we just have to kind of get into this idea. It's a 56-point total. The Chiefs are looking to score. They have a 33-point game total, which is crazy. Lots of scoring coming from the Chiefs. Plenty of points from the Colts, too. They're looking at about 23 implied points. So let's just take a look at the Fanduel side first, because I think this one's way more straightforward. I've got Fanduel open as well. Just start with this guy. I mean, if you're going to have Pat Mahomes in your lineup at 17-5, he's the captain. So he's the MVP on FanDuel. So don't even bother making a lineup where Mahomes is in it but isn't the MVP. You can have a Travis Kelce lineup, but in order for a situation to happen where Kelce outscores Mahomes, Mahomes would have to do all of his work to Kelce. It's borderline impossible. So the only difference is if a lineup can't be made with the 17-5 in it. So like if all these studs do really well and you can't have made a lineup with Mahomes in it. That's the only way that he's not the captain. So let's take a look at Josh's notes here. He says 60 to 70% Mahomes, but also says if you wanted to build 150 with Mahomes at MVP, I wouldn't fault you. It's totally doable that way. He's got Mac as an alternative. I'd throw Travis Kelce in there too. The main reason talking about Kelce this week is he's in the best spot of any of the pass catchers for the Chiefs. The Colts can't stop the tight end position, so anytime Kelce's in a plus matchup, you want to be all over that shit. But no, mainly, let's say I was going to be just kind of building a cashy kind of a lineup. We're going to start with that. We're going to put Jacoby Brissett in there. Brissett should have a fine game. Brissett has been fine. So he is a cash play, right? He's been putting up nice numbers every single week. Totally good. The chance that the only way Brissett is the nut and not Mahomes is if it's just like a full LaShawn McCoy / Darrell Williams or Damian Williams. It looks like Damian's going to play. Who the hell knows which guy it's going to be? This is a disgusting situation. But if these Damian, Darrell, and LaShawn McCoy all kind of do some work, I think LaShawn McCoy is the best of the group to play tonight. He doesn't get a ton of volume, though. He's not a must-play. Same thing with Marlon Mack. There's a little bit of concern here, and this is what makes it tricky in cash lineups tonight. There's a little concern here. He's got the gimpy ankle. How much is he going to play? Or do the Colts fall behind terribly like last week and have to completely abandon, Mack in his game? It could totally happen. He could bust. One guy I do like a lot, though, is T.Y. Hilton. I don't really see a whole lot of bust coming out of him this week. I want to get Kelce in there. So how much I got left? 2,500. So you got to make choices. Can't do it. Not gonna do it. So when you're making choices, what are we looking at? We're looking at some super turds. I'm just looking for anybody who's going to play. I'm looking for Nyheim Hines. He's going to play a little bit. If the Colts go behind by quite a bit, Nyheim Hines will play a lot. But you can understand just from this why it's tricky to make a lineup with Mahomes, Brissett, and Kelce. So we have to make a choice. Now, if we did a little something different, you still have to take a turd in your lineup. I definitely don't like Adam Vinatieri. Well, let's go through the whole slate here because I jumped the gun. Okay, so Mahomes, Brissett, very cash playable. Mac, fine. Although, like I said, he's got a lower floor than it appears, mainly because he can get game flowed out. He's coming off injury. The game flow out thing is what concerns me the most. Damian Williams, playable. The other pass catchers for the Chiefs, you've got Demarcus Robinson, Sammy Watkins, and Mecole Hardman. All right, this is your 4-pack of pass catchers from the Chiefs right here. Watkins, midweek injury. He's going to play tonight. We don't know what kind of condition he's going to be in. It's really tricky. I definitely want some exposure. I'm a little nervous in cash, but he gets the most volume normally when he's in there. So 6 targets, 8 targets, 13, 11. He normally gets the most volume. Demarcus Robinson is out there a lot, 9 targets, 4, 6. So he's usually getting less volume. And then Mecole Hardman's the big play guy, the least volume of all of them, 5, 5, 6. So, all of these guys are super viable. And, in trying to squeeze a lineup together, you might be stuck with using a Mecole Hardman. So the question is, how do you complete a lineup like this? My preference is to get Kelce in there, but I can't seem to make it work with Kelce, Brissett, and Mahomes. I've got nothing left. Unless I just completely throw away a spot with something like Deion Kane. Is he going to be out there? Paris Campbell is out this week. So, there's for the Colts, he didn't even write him, but you've got Chester Rogers, Zach Pascal, Deion Kane. There's a lot of garbage player choices. So, yeah, with especially, Deion Kane, he's out there a little bit. Again, Paris Campbell's out. Somebody's got to get those snaps. Could be Chester Rogers, Zach Pascal. Let's see where Zach Pascal is coming in. Maybe not even cheap enough to want a super turd up punt with him, but, he's playable here. Let's see what Pascal has done the last couple of weeks. And again, this was without T.Y. Hilton, but it's important to note that now Paris Campbell had been playing, and now he's out. So, he'd got 8 targets last week. Now, where are those going to go? Probably to T.Y. Hilton. So you're going to have to deal with some of these super turds if you want to start like this. If you don't want to start like this, you have to give up one of these guys. I'd rather give up Kelce. As much as I love Kelce on the slate, if I'm trying to make a cash lineup, Brissett has a higher floor. So I might go give up a Kelce. And what do we have? 9,300 left. We still have to take a loser in every lineup. Butker usually has a good game. Eric Ebron, playable. Then you've got 11K left to finish it up with one of these guys, Robinson or Watkins. I don't love it, so I might do Nyheim Hines, get a little bit of that going on, and then I can get back to, a LaShawn McCoy here or a Marlon Mack. I'd like to get to T.Y. Hilton, but it doesn't work. So a lot of tricky lineup constructions, and this does feel like the kind of game where I'm not going to load up 100% Mahomes, because as you look at how the lineups fit together, you can see where that 17-5 is really forcing you, without a clear-cut pay-down option on the slate, it really forces you on Fanduel to make some tough decisions. You have to skip him or skip the other quarterback, Brissett. So there could be some logic in a sense to going with a Brissett and just not using Mahomes in the lineup at all, but rather just using his weapons. I know it seems bananas crazy, but what if that's how it went? Damian Williams, Mecole Hardman. You can do something a little different without Mahomes in there. I don't like it, but I'm just saying, don't assume automatically that Mahomes has to be in every single lineup. He will probably be the highest scorer. but he's also far and away the most expensive. So there's a trade-off this week that usually we don't see on Fanduel, and it's just an important thing to note. Again, my preference, to have him. I'd almost rather just throw away a spot, but for all intents and purposes, you have to throw away a spot. How about Wilkins, by the way? Another long shot. If Mac does come out of the game, I mean, I prefer Nyheim Hines by a lot, because I think if Mac comes out, this is going to be the guy who gets the targets anyway, could get a touchdown. You know, we're praying for a touchdown. But it could be Wilkins. Let's go back to the notes. Yeah, I don't like Vinatieri as much as... Is this Draftkings? This has to be Draftkings. Fanduel. I don't like Vinatieri as much as maybe Josh does here, but you can see your 5-star plays are very clear. 4-star, 4-star Hilton, 5-star Kelsey. And then you've got to figure out down here, as we get to this zone, who do we want to use? Chester Rogers, 7,500. Zach Pascal, Doyle, and Ebron. One of these guys is going to lead. So this is going to be one of those times where one of these super turds is going to be almost required in your lineup on Fanduel in order to squeeze all the studliness in there. Either that or, like I said, taking a contrarian approach where we accept that Mahomes is going to have a spectacular day, but we get access to it through his pass catchers rather than him because of the salary. So that's a super, super deep GPP sort of potential approach. Let's jump over to DraftKings real quick. Check out the showdown there. We'll jump over to our DraftKings coaches notes. Here you see some slight differences. Again, Mahomes, way more expensive than everyone else. Very difficult. A little tricky to make a lineup with him in there. But Kelsey, sure. Brissett, okay. Then you've got your pass catchers. Hilton, Robinson, little Damian Williams, not as much. I'd rather have the pass catchers here. Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins. That's who I'd be messing around with in the captain spot. In the flex, you know, the standard names and whatnot, you're definitely going to want to get some affordability going. Harrison Butker. Chiefs defense is playable. Chester Rogers down here for some affordability. In this case, I don't mind Vinatieri as badly because, again, I think you're going to need to be able to afford to pay for some of these guys. So let's see how it all comes together. So if you try to use Mahomes at the captain, you've only got $6K left per spot. Now we're going to go to the flex. We're going to throw Harrison Butker in there. There's no reason not to play Harrison Butker. Look what he does. You know, he gives you 10, 17, 10. He gives you double digits for that price. That's as good as it gets. Now we can do a little Zach Pascal. He could have a good game, right? That's another salary opener. Ebron, Mecole Hardman, Williams, Nyheim Hines. Got some names here. A lot of affordability. If we like T.Y. Hilton, which I do, get him in there. You can get DeMarcus Robinson in there. You can get Shady McCoy in there. Look at this. Mahomes, Butker. Couldn't get Kelsey in this one, but I got most of the people I wanted. Now, this isn't high floor enough for my taste, so what I'd rather do is try to find a way to get to Brissett in the lineup. And to do that, I might need to kind of do a little something different over here. So the players are the same. We've got the passing game for the Chiefs. That's going to be amazing. You've also got the two running backs, McCoy and Damian Williams, both very playable. You know, we're going to lean McCoy more than Damian Williams. Then as far as the kicker, we like the kicker. Harrison Butker. Chiefs defense, playable. Playable. On the Colts side, there's a lot of sketchiness. The best play is Jacoby Brissett because, we know he's going to be out there in a game with a lot of points being scored. There's an outside chance of Brissett scoring more fantasy points than Mahomes here if the Chiefs lean heavy on the run in this game. We've seen them do it. We saw them do it at Detroit. I don't expect it. Not counting on it, but it could happen. But if that doesn't happen, there's just that outside chance. But the more likely scenario is Mahomes scores the most points. But the problem is, again, Mahomes, 19-2, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of scratch. So if you kind of wanted to take a different approach to setting up your lineups here, if you put a cheaper guy up here like a Travis Kelce, who, again, I expect to have a big game. Not as high of a floor, not anywhere near the kind of floor of Pat Mahomes, but I expect him to have a big game. And again, we go back to a similar build like we just did with Butker. Maybe Chiefs defense in there. Maybe not. Maybe Chester Rogers. He's going to be out there. This guy's going to score you a couple points. I'm trying to see if there's any other cheapos that we could even look at. No, but Chester Rogers, he's going to be out there. He's had games in his where he's had receptions over his career. Jack Doyle is out there. Eric Ebron. Sadly, you're going to need one of these turds in your mass multi-entry. But at this point, I've got $9K left. Let's put Mahomes in the flex. Now I can do Marlon Mack. I can go to Demarcus Robinson. I can go to Shady McCoy. Again, I like T.Y. Hilton. I like Jacoby Brissett. But, there are different options to build. So I think you've got to be creative this week because a lot of fantasy points are going to be had in this game. If I have to choose my best plays, my top plays, my favorite plays, it's Mahomes, Kelce, Brissett, T.Y. Hilton. That's the group. Can't afford them in a lineup together, or it's very difficult, but that's the group. Then it would be Robinson, McCoy, Hardman. Hardman. Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy probably going to split a lot of touches. Tough to know which guy. Again, Marlon Mack, very low floor. So those are the ones that I'm going to, I'll mix into my tournament entries, but not as much not in a primary sort of cash approach lineup. Then again, Zach Pascal and Chester Rogers. I don't know which one. Dean Cain. These are your super punt turds that somebody can do something, but we don't know who it's going to be. Even Deion Kane. Like I said, 5 targets, 0 receptions. Seems to suck. But 5 targets last week. So this is a guy who's out there. Unfortunately, when you mass monthly enter, you're going to need to have him in the mix, unfortunately. All right, let's take a look at Super Draft real quick. Again, I just want to conclude this with, the notes are here. They're really well done. It gives you a great idea of exposures, who to consider, and why. Looking over at Super Draft, the projections are pretty clear this week. I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots of overlay, so get in there. Let's have some fun. Kelce, Kelce with a bit of a multiplier on there. Mahomes is so good, even without a multiplier, you could just play him. He's playable. He's playable. I don't need a multiplier. I rarely do that. Brissett also playable. You got Kelce as your top projected based on his projected score and the multiplier. I love T.Y. Hilton. I think he can outscore 13.4. He's a guy I'm going to lean on very heavily in these. Shady McCoy, definitely. Butker, usable. Here are some spots where you can get some multiplier goodness. Okay. Robinson and Mecole Hardman. These are both big play potential wide receivers. Note that they project a little bit lower than like a T.Y. Hilton, but I can see either one of these guys putting up 20 fantasy points, either one of them. And if they do, at 3.4, 3.6, they're going to smash this number. It's going to be a 60, right? So this is a mean projection. These are the types of guys with a 3.4 and 3.6 multiplier. That's what we want. Because if he scores the touchdown, if he passes 100, if Mecole Hardman gets a big play in, they're going to smash value at this multiplier. Now, if I'm making a lot of lineups, I can look at Damian Williams as somebody, a great multiplier. If they play a lot of him, he's questionable, and Marshawn McCoy. I think there's a lot of guys. I'm not in love with it, but it only takes one touchdown for him to hit that 42, and then a second one, and he'll be at 70. Ebron, not so much. Chester Rogers, Darrell Williams. I think you can, for the most part, ignore this group. I mean, if you want to take a shot on the super turd pass catchers for the Colts, Zach Pascal, we already talked about him, Deion Kane, and Chester Rogers. I mean, if you want to take a super punt craziness on one of these guys, okay, but don't do a lot of it. Don't do a lot of that. Stick with these names where we can get 3x multipliers to even T.Y. Hilton 2.4. That's fine. T.Y. Hilton has 30-point upside. So you give him that's 70 points on the projection. The difference here is Mahomes has this great floor. He's going to score 25 fantasy points, maybe 28 or 35 even. But he's got a 1.5. There's no way that he is scoring 60 points to get you to, 75. So he's got this great mean projection, but the chances are Mahomes will get you somewhere between, that's his mean projected score. His ceiling is probably 40 points. At 1.5, that's a 60. Okay, but if he did that, there's a great chance that Hardman, Robinson, McCoy, Watkins, and Kelsey are going bananas and scoring even more. So at a higher multiplier, a much higher multiplier. So there are very few scenarios outside of cash on SuperDraft where I really want to use Mahomes in the captain. What do they call it? I don't know. Colonel. There are very few scenarios where I want that to happen. Instead, I want to focus on the assumption that if Mahomes is having this great game, that means that some number of this, or this guy is having a great game, and they have much better multipliers, so we want to focus on that. I mean, that's as far as I'm going to go in terms of talking about this super draft approach, but I hope that makes a lot of sense. Rather than the quarterback at 2.2, I might want to use, or at 1.5, I want to use these guys who are getting me 2.5. Kelsey, again, if he gets you 20 at 2.5, that's going to be 50. Mahomes, at 27 at 1.5 is going to be 40. He needs to get to much higher than that. He needs to get to 40 points for this to get to 60. And he could do it, but if he's getting 40 fantasy points, again, some of these people are definitely getting more than 10, 13. These guys are going to wind up with 20s and 25s. And that's why the sharper play on SuperDraft based on these multipliers is to get down with these pass cat or LaShawn. I don't love Cheeto Mac here. 2.35. I don't hate it. It's playable, but I'd rather get down with these pass catchers. I wish T.Y. Hilton had a better multiplier, because at that point, Brissett seems more interesting to me at the same multiplier. So that's something to keep in mind as well. All right, that's it for this one, guys. Good luck tonight. Let's crush this.